Hi everyone, I'm a 32-year-old woman, and I've been married to my husband Ryan, 34M, for 6 years. We have what I describe as a close and supportive relationship. We both work full-time, share household responsibilities, and enjoy our quiet life together. It's not perfect, but we've built something solid that makes me happy. Enter Amanda, Ryan's younger sister, who's 30 and has been a thorn in my side since day one. Amanda has always had a knack for making backhanded comments. Whether it's about my cooking, my job, or even the way I dress, she always finds something to critique during family gatherings. At first, I brushed it off as harmless teasing, but over the years, her remarks have only grown nastier. Ryan's parents adore Amanda. She's their golden child, the one who can do no wrong. When she criticizes me, they laugh it off or tell me, "Oh, that's just Amanda. She doesn't mean it." Meanwhile, I'm left feeling like I'm the crazy one for thinking her behavior is out of line. Ryan has always supported me, but even he struggles to get through to his parents when it comes to Amanda. The most recent incident started at a family dinner, about a month ago. Ryan and I had been invited over to his parents' house for one of their infamous big Sunday dinners. It was supposed to be a casual, family-oriented evening, but with Amanda there, I should have known better. Everything started off fine. Small talk, passing dishes, the usual. But halfway through the meal, Amanda shifted the conversation to Ryan and me. She started asking overly personal questions about our finances, like how we manage bills and whether I was letting Ryan spend time with his family. Her tone was condescending, but I tried to stay polite, answering briefly and steering the conversation elsewhere. That didn't stop her. She escalated quickly, claiming I was controlling and accusing me of isolating Ryan from his family. She painted this picture of me as some kind of puppet master who dictates every aspect of Ryan's life. I was stunned. I didn't even know how to respond. Ryan, thankfully, didn't hesitate to step in. He immediately shut Amanda down, defending me and making it clear that her accusations were baseless. He even told her that our finances and decisions were none of her business. But instead of backing off, Amanda burst into tears, claiming that no one in the family ever takes her side. She stormed out of the dining room, leaving everyone in an awkward silence. You'd think that would have been the end of it, but no. Over the next few weeks, Amanda went into full victim mode. She started calling Ryan's parents almost daily, painting me as the villain in her story. I wasn't privy to their conversations, but I noticed a shift in how his parents treated me. They became colder, more critical. Suddenly, there were comments about how we manage our household, and whether I was making enough time for family priorities. It didn't stop there. Amanda's claims escalated. One evening, while Ryan and I were visiting his parents, I overheard Amanda on the phone in the next room. She was telling someone that I didn't let Ryan see his family often, and that I was driving a wedge between him and them. I was furious but stayed quiet for the sake of keeping the peace. Later that night, I vented my frustrations to Ryan. He reassured me that I wasn't imagining things and admitted his family had been expressing doubts about our marriage, doubts clearly fueled by Amanda. That hurt. I thought I'd built a decent relationship with his parents, and it stung to realize how easily Amanda's lies had influenced them. Then came the tipping point. A mutual friend reached out to me with a heads up Amanda had been gossiping about me to extended family. Apparently, she'd been claiming I was financially exploiting Ryan, even though I earn more than him and contribute equally to everything. I was shocked, but not entirely surprised. This wasn't the first time Amanda had tried to stir up trouble, but this was the most malicious thing she'd done so far. It didn't take long for me to find proof. While scrolling through my social media, I came across screenshots that a cousin had sent me. They were messages from Amanda, accusing me of being lazy and mooching off Ryan. She made it sound like I was sitting at home all day while Ryan worked his fingers to the bone, which couldn't be further from the truth. When Ryan saw the messages, he was livid. He confronted Amanda directly, calling her out for spreading lies about me. But instead of owning up to it, she played the concerned sister card, insisting she was only trying to look out for him. To make matters worse, Amanda called for a family meeting to address what she called her concerns. She framed herself as the victim, claiming I was attacking her for simply caring about her brother. That was the last straw for me. I decided I wasn't going to let her walk all over me anymore. I started planning. I wasn't going to stoop to her level, but I was determined to expose her lies in a way she couldn't wiggle out of. This isn't over yet. I'll update soon once I've put my plan into action. Stay tuned. Update 1. After Amanda called for that ridiculous family meeting, I decided it was time to get serious. Her accusations weren't just annoying anymore. They were damaging my reputation and creating tension in my marriage. If she wanted to play dirty, I'd counter with facts, plain and simple. So I got to work. I started by compiling evidence to counter her lies. I gathered financial records, showing that I not only contribute equally to our household, but actually earn more than Ryan. I also dug up receipts for all the times I'd paid for family events, dinners, and gifts over the years, things Amanda conveniently ignored in her gossip. I found screenshots of Amanda's messages to the cousin who had sent them to me earlier, accusing me of being lazy and a gold digger. By the time I was done, I had a neat little folder of irrefutable proof. Next, I quietly reached out to a few mutual friends to see if Amanda's gossiping extended beyond the family. It didn't take long to confirm that it did. Several of them admitted Amanda had made similar comments to them, painting me as controlling and manipulative. One friend even mentioned overhearing Amanda joke that she was saving Ryan from his clueless wife. That's when it hit me Amanda wasn't just targeting me. This was her pattern. A key piece of the puzzle came from Ryan's cousin, Laura. When I shared what I'd found so far, Laura opened up about her own experiences with Amanda. Apparently, Amanda had pulled the same stunt with another one of her brother's ex-girlfriends years ago, spreading rumors and causing a breakup. According to Laura, Amanda had always been territorial about Ryan, almost like she didn't want him to have any close relationships outside of her. Hearing this from Laura gave me the confidence to move forward. Ryan, for his part, didn't sit back either. He decided it was time to address things head-on. He sent a group message to his immediate family, asking them to stop discussing our marriage behind our backs and making it clear that he wouldn't tolerate the drama any longer. As expected, Amanda was furious. She responded with a long, dramatic reply, claiming she was just trying to protect him from being manipulated by me. It was classic Amanda, no accountability, just more victimhood. Ryan's parents, who were still buying into Amanda's narrative, then asked to meet with us to clear the air. I agreed, mostly because I wanted to lay everything out once and for all. What we didn't expect was for Amanda to show up uninvited. She walked in halfway through the conversation with tears in her eyes, acting like she'd been wronged. It was the ambush I'd been expecting. Amanda wasted no time. She accused me of alienating Ryan from his family, refusing to attend family events, and turning him against her. Her performance was Oscar-worthy, complete with sniffles and emotional pauses. Ryan's parents looked uncomfortable but didn't say much, which told me they were still partially on her side. When Amanda finally finished, I took a deep breath and calmly began presenting my evidence. I laid out the receipts, financial records, and screenshots, addressing each of Amanda's claims with cold, hard facts. I pointed out how I've always supported Ryan's relationship with his family, and even showed proof of times I'd encouraged him to visit them when he was busy with work. Then came the bombshell. I handed over the text messages Amanda had sent to her cousin, where she called me lazy and a mooch. The room went silent. Amanda tried to defend herself, claiming I'd invaded her privacy by digging through her messages. But it was too late. The damage was done. Amanda stormed out, slamming the door behind her, and saying something about how she didn't need this kind of treatment from family. Ryan's parents were visibly shaken but still tried to defend her. They said Amanda was just misunderstood and had good intentions. I could see Ryan's frustration building, but he held back for the sake of keeping the peace. What surprised me most was the response from the extended family. Word spread quickly after the meeting, and over the next few days, several relatives reached out to me. Some apologized for believing Amanda's lies, while others shared their own stories of her manipulative behavior. It felt good to have their support, even if Ryan's parents were still reluctant to fully acknowledge the truth. As for Amanda, she went completely silent. She stopped posting on social media and avoided family gatherings entirely for the next few weeks. It was a welcome break, but I knew it wouldn't last. Amanda wasn't the type to let things go, especially when she'd been called out so publicly. I had a feeling she was planning something, and I wasn't about to let my guard down. This isn't over yet. I'll update again when Amanda makes her next move. Update 2. It didn't take long for Amanda to resurface. After going silent for a few weeks following the family meeting, she started posting cryptic messages on social media. They were vague but pointed, things like, "It's always the ones closest to you who hurt you the most," and "Funny how some people will do anything to play the victim." While she didn't mention names, it was clear to anyone who knew her that she was talking about me and Ryan. Not surprisingly, these posts sparked questions from extended family members. I started getting texts and calls from relatives asking if everything was okay. Some were neutral, but others clearly believed Amanda's version of events. "We're worried about Amanda, she's been really upset lately," one aunt said, which only confirmed that Amanda had been stirring the pot behind the scenes again. Then, one morning, a package arrived at our doorstep. It was from Amanda. Inside was a neatly wrapped book titled How to Save Your Marriage Before It's Too Late. There was no note, just the book. Ryan and I both knew it was a passive-aggressive jab, another attempt to paint me as the problem in our marriage. Ryan tossed it into the trash without a second thought, but it was clear Amanda wasn't done with her antics. Ryan's patience was wearing thin, especially with his parents. They were still refusing to fully acknowledge Amanda's behavior, clinging to the idea that this was all just a misunderstanding. Ryan had a tense conversation with them, making it clear that if they didn't stop enabling Amanda, it would affect his relationship with them. They didn't take it well, but Ryan stood firm. Around this time, Laura reached out to me with some new information. She'd heard from a few other family members that Amanda was planning a family intervention. According to Laura, Amanda was trying to rally the extended family against me by claiming I was isolating Ryan and ruining his relationship with everyone. Amanda's goal, apparently, was to stage an intervention where she could save Ryan from me. When Laura told us, Ryan and I decided we couldn't let Amanda control the narrative. We agreed to attend the intervention but come fully prepared. If Amanda wanted to air her grievances in front of the family, she was going to face the truth too. The day of the intervention arrived, and it was just as ridiculous as we expected. Amanda had gathered several family members, including Ryan's parents, a few aunts, and even a couple of cousins who had traveled in for the occasion. Amanda kicked things off with her usual dramatic flair, claiming she was worried for Ryan's well-being and that she felt he was being manipulated. She accused me of turning him against the family and controlling every aspect of his life. When she finished her monologue, Ryan calmly stepped in. He addressed everyone in the room, stating clearly that he was happy in our marriage, and that any distance between him and his family had nothing to do with me. He pointed out that Amanda's constant interference and false accusations were the real issue. Then it was my turn. I had brought along the same folder of evidence I'd used at the last meeting, but this time I also included screenshots of Amanda's recent social media posts and the messages she'd sent to mutual friends. I calmly walked the family through each piece of evidence, dismantling Amanda's claims one by one. Amanda couldn't handle it. As I spoke, she grew more and more agitated, interrupting me with defensive remarks and trying to twist the narrative. When I revealed the passive-aggressive book she'd sent us, Amanda snapped. She accused me of turning everyone against her and yelled that I was destroying the family. Her outburst was so over the top that even her most loyal defenders looked uncomfortable. The turning point came when Laura spoke up. She confirmed that Amanda had a history of targeting her brother's partners and causing unnecessary drama. Other family members started chiming in, sharing their own experiences with Amanda's manipulative behavior. It was like a dam had broken. Amanda stormed out of the intervention, slamming the door and yelling that she was done with this family. She threatened to cut contact with anyone who continued to support me and Ryan. In the aftermath, Ryan's parents finally apologized to me. They admitted they had been wrong to side with Amanda and said they regretted not standing up for me sooner. It wasn't a perfect apology, but it was a step in the right direction. As for the rest of the family, the majority sided with us. Several relatives reached out in the days following the intervention to express their support and apologize for believing Amanda's lies. Amanda, meanwhile, went completely no contact. She stopped attending family events, blocked several relatives on social media, and even unfriended Ryan and me. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I could breathe. The truth had come out, and most of the family finally saw Amanda for who she really was. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that Amanda wasn't done yet. She'd gone quiet, but I knew her well enough to suspect she was planning her next move. I'll update again if or when Amanda decides to stir up more drama. Update 3. If I thought Amanda's silence after the intervention meant she was done, I was wrong. She wasn't planning to let it go. This time, though, she tried a new tactic, one that could have done real damage if not for some quick action on my part. It started when one of my coworkers, Ashley, pulled me aside during a lunch break. Ashley is one of those people who's friendly with everyone but also keeps her ear to the ground. She told me Amanda had been reaching out to a mutual acquaintance who worked in a nearby department. Apparently, Amanda had shared some wild claims, accusing me of being toxic, unstable, and even implying that I was causing problems at work. Amanda clearly wanted these rumors to spread, but luckily, Ashley shut it down before it went any further. I immediately started documenting everything. I saved emails, texts, and even notes from conversations with coworkers who vouched for me. I also consulted an attorney to get advice on how to handle Amanda's defamatory behavior. While I didn't file a lawsuit right away, I wanted to have everything in place in case Amanda escalated further. The attorney advised me to send Amanda a cease and desist letter if the behavior continued, which I kept as an option. Meanwhile, Amanda turned to social media again. This time, her posts weren't just vague, they were pointed. She wrote about people who lie and ruin families and women who trap men into cutting off their loved ones. She never mentioned me by name, but the timing and context made it obvious. It was frustrating, but I refused to engage. Her posts spoke louder about her than they did about me. Ryan's parents, however, weren't as immune to Amanda's antics. She called them, sobbing about how she was ostracized and wrongfully attacked at the intervention. They wavered again, questioning whether Ryan and I had been too harsh. Ryan had finally had enough. He visited them in person and made it clear unless they stopped enabling Amanda's behavior, he would limit contact with them. It wasn't an easy conversation, but it needed to happen. Ryan stood firm, and while his parents didn't take it well, they seemed to understand they were on thin ice. Amanda's next move was as bold as it was desperate. She showed up uninvited to a family gathering at Ryan's parents' house. It was a casual dinner with only a few relatives, so her sudden arrival caught everyone off guard. She wasted no time bringing up past incidents, twisting them to fit her narrative. She made veiled comments about me being controlling and tried to provoke me into reacting. I stayed calm. When Amanda tried to bait me, I responded firmly but without anger, reiterating the facts and refusing to stoop to her level. I reminded everyone present of the evidence I'd already shared and pointed out that Amanda's accusations didn't hold up under scrutiny. It wasn't the dramatic blowout Amanda was hoping for. Instead, the extended family members who witnessed the confrontation sided with me, further isolating Amanda. The real bombshell came a week later. Laura, Ryan's cousin and my unofficial ally in all this, reached out with shocking news. Amanda had been secretly recording family conversations. Laura found out after overhearing Amanda bragging to a friend about how she could prove her version of events using those recordings. Laura managed to get a hold of one of the recordings and shared it with Ryan and me. It was exactly what we needed to expose Amanda's manipulative tactics. Armed with this new information, Ryan and I decided to confront Amanda directly. We asked her to meet us at a neutral location, and while she was initially defensive, her face changed the moment we mentioned the recordings. She tried to justify it, claiming she was protecting herself, but the damage was done. We made it clear that her actions were not only unethical but potentially illegal. She stormed off, muttering about how we were all ganging up on her. News of the recording spread quickly through the family. Ryan's parents were horrified. It was the wake-up call they needed. They finally acknowledged that Amanda's behavior was out of control and apologized for not supporting us sooner. It wasn't easy for them to admit, but it was a significant step in repairing our relationship with them. The fallout for Amanda was swift. Her reputation within the family was shattered, and even some of her closest allies began distancing themselves. She stopped attending family events entirely, and mutual friends reported that she was facing social and financial difficulties as a result of her actions catching up with her. To protect ourselves further, we decided it was time to send Amanda the cease and desist letter the attorney had recommended. The letter was straightforward, warning her to stop spreading falsehoods about me or face legal consequences. Amanda didn't respond, but she also didn't escalate further, which was exactly the outcome we wanted. For now, Amanda has gone silent again, but I've learned not to let my guard down. Ryan's parents have been trying to repair their relationship with us, and most of the family has been supportive. Still, there's one last step to fully put this drama behind us, a family meeting to address everything once and for all. I'll update again after that. Update 4. After the fallout from Amanda's secret recordings, Ryan's parents decided it was time to address the ongoing conflict. They insisted on a family meeting, saying it was the only way to fix the situation and bring everyone back together. I wasn't thrilled about the idea, especially knowing Amanda's track record for turning situations in her favor. But Ryan wanted to go, so I reluctantly agreed. This time, I wasn't going in unprepared. The meeting was set for a Sunday afternoon at Ryan's parents' house. We planned to arrive on time, but Amanda, unsurprisingly, showed up early. By the time we walked in, she was already in the living room, surrounded by a few relatives, trying to control the narrative. I overheard her spinning her usual tale about being unfairly attacked and how she only wanted what was best for Ryan. The relatives she was talking to nodded sympathetically, but their expressions shifted when they saw us enter. Amanda quickly stopped talking and gave us a tight, forced smile. I came prepared. I had brought the folder of evidence I'd compiled over the past few months, neatly organized with screenshots, financial records, and even witness statements from family members and friends who had seen Amanda's behavior firsthand. I wasn't planning to use it unless absolutely necessary, but I wanted to be ready for anything. Ryan was calm but firm, ready to back me up if things got out of hand. The meeting began with Ryan's parents asking everyone to speak openly about their feelings. Amanda wasted no time jumping in. She painted herself as the victim, claiming I had torn the family apart and manipulated Ryan into turning against her. She even brought up old, unrelated incidents, twisting them to make herself look innocent and me look controlling. Her performance was as dramatic as ever, complete with teary eyes and quivering voice. Ryan let her finish before calmly stepping in. He addressed the room, explaining that he was fully capable of making his own decisions, and that he stood by me 100%. He then pointed out specific examples of Amanda's behavior over the years, her lies, her manipulations, and her attempts to meddle in our marriage. His tone was steady and his words were measured, but they hit hard. It was clear he wasn't going to let Amanda shift the blame anymore. When it was my turn to speak, I kept my composure. I started by addressing Amanda's claims directly, dismantling them with facts. I shared a few key pieces of evidence from my folder, including screenshots of her messages and proof of her spreading rumors about me. I also brought up the passive-aggressive book she had sent us, which left everyone in the room stunned. My goal wasn't to attack her, but to make it clear that her behavior was unacceptable and couldn't be ignored any longer. As I spoke, Amanda grew visibly agitated. She interrupted several times, trying to defend herself, but her arguments only made her look worse. The final straw came when I revealed the recordings she had secretly made of family conversations. I explained how Laura had discovered them and shared the details with us. That was when Amanda completely lost her composure. She stood up, yelling that we were all conspiring against her and accusing me of turning everyone against her. Her outburst was loud, chaotic, and frankly embarrassing. The room fell into an awkward silence as Amanda stormed out, slamming the door behind her. On her way out, she shouted that she was done with this family and wouldn't come back unless we all apologized to her. No one followed her. Instead, the family sat in stunned silence for a few moments before the conversation shifted to what had just happened. Ryan's parents looked visibly shaken. After a long pause, they turned to me and apologized. They admitted they had been wrong to side with Amanda for so long and expressed regret for not supporting me sooner. It wasn't an easy thing for them to say, but it felt genuine. Other family members chimed in, apologizing for believing Amanda's lies and thanking me for staying calm despite everything. In the weeks following the meeting, Amanda's isolation became more apparent. She stopped attending family events entirely, and many relatives distanced themselves from her. Some even blocked her on social media after realizing the extent of her manipulations. Mutual friends told us that Amanda was struggling to find support, but at this point, I wasn't concerned about her reputation. She had brought this on herself. For the first time in months, I felt a sense of relief. The truth was out, and the family finally saw Amanda for who she really was. Ryan's relationship with his parents began to improve, and I could tell they were making an effort to rebuild trust with me. While the damage Amanda caused couldn't be undone, it felt like a new chapter for us. Still, I can't shake the feeling that Amanda isn't done. She's gone quiet for now, but I've learned to expect the unexpected from her. If she does make another move, I'll be ready. I'll post an update if there's more to share. Update 5. Just when I thought Amanda couldn't stoop any lower, she found a way to surprise us. Out of nowhere, Ryan received a call from his HR department at work. They had received an anonymous complaint accusing him of unethical practices. The details were vague but serious enough to trigger an internal investigation. At first, Ryan was confused, but it didn't take long to figure out who was behind it. The investigation was swift and thorough. Ryan provided all the documentation and information they requested, and within a few days, the company cleared him of any wrongdoing. But here's where things got interesting. His employer informed him that the anonymous complaint wasn't so anonymous after all. It had come directly from Amanda. She had used her name and personal email address to file the complaint, probably thinking she'd remain unnoticed. Ryan shared the news with me, and we were both furious. This wasn't just petty family drama anymore, it was an attack on his career and livelihood. With the company's confirmation in hand, we decided it was time to take legal action. We reached out to my attorney and began the process of filing a defamation lawsuit against Amanda. The lawyer assured us we had a strong case, given the baseless nature of her claims and the clear intent to harm Ryan's reputation. When word got out to the rest of the family, the reaction was swift and unanimous. Even Amanda's few remaining supporters couldn't justify her behavior anymore. Targeting Ryan's job was a step too far, and everyone agreed she had crossed a line. Relatives who had been on the fence about cutting ties with Amanda finally made the decision to distance themselves. Ryan's parents were especially devastated, and they openly condemned Amanda's actions. For the first time, the entire family seemed to be on the same page. Amanda's desperation became even more apparent in the days that followed. She bombarded Ryan and other family members with messages alternating between apologizing and making vague threats. It was as if she couldn't decide whether to play the victim or lash out. Ryan ignored her entirely, but I documented everything and forwarded it to our attorney. It was clear Amanda hadn't learned her lesson, so our lawyer sent her a final cease and desist letter. The letter warned her in no uncertain terms that any further harassment would result in immediate legal consequences. The letter worked. Amanda went silent. Her social media accounts, once filled with cryptic posts and passive-aggressive jabs, went completely inactive. She stopped attending family gatherings and cut off communication with most relatives. It felt like the storm had finally passed. With Amanda out of the picture, Ryan and I shifted our focus to healing and moving forward. Ryan's parents took significant steps to repair their relationship with us. They apologized repeatedly for enabling Amanda's behavior and admitted they should have taken a stand sooner. While it would take time to fully rebuild trust, their efforts felt genuine. We also worked on setting clear boundaries with them to ensure that future family conflicts wouldn't spiral out of control. On a personal note, things began looking up for me at work as well. A few months after Amanda's false accusations, I received a promotion. It was a validating moment, especially after all the lies Amanda had spread about me being lazy and mooching off Ryan. My colleagues, who had supported me through the drama, were genuinely happy for me, and it reinforced how far removed Amanda's reality was from the truth. As for Amanda, her manipulative behavior finally caught up with her. Mutual friends informed us that she was struggling both socially and financially. Many of the connections she once relied on had cut ties with her, and her reputation was in tatters. While I don't take pleasure in anyone's downfall, it's hard to ignore the fact that Amanda's actions led her to this point. Looking back, this ordeal was one of the most challenging experiences of my life. But it also taught me the importance of standing up for myself and not letting lies go unchecked. Ryan and I came out of it stronger, both as individuals and as a couple. We learned to communicate better, set boundaries, and prioritize the relationships that truly matter. In the end, the truth prevailed, and Amanda's attempts to tear us down only brought us closer together. While I can't predict what the future holds, I'm confident that we've built a foundation strong enough to withstand any storm. If there's one thing this experience has taught me, it's that the truth will always speak louder than lies. Thank you to everyone who followed along and supported us through this journey. This will likely be my final update unless something drastic happens, but for now, I'm happy to close this chapter and move forward.